Welcome back. Joining me for a look at the day's markets action is Momentum Securities, Odwa Mangwentshu. Odwa, thanks so much for your time today. We've had choppy trade for most parts of the week, particularly in the US. I guess, traders were just waiting for some market catalysts to move those stocks. Today we got the ADP numbers, up 146,000 for November, but below expectations of 158,000. What's your reading on that print in particular, Odwa?
Well, with this print in particular, we are seeing a drop on the trend that we've had, but it's not the worst from the year. So it is giving a bearish outlook in terms of the non-farm payroll numbers, which are coming out on Friday. And that's the main concern, and which then leads to the bigger picture question of what's going to happen with interest rates numbers, with the Fed. What are they going to decide going forward? So I think that is just playing a bit of a contribution to what's happening recently with this latest print.
Do you think that markets are particularly concerned about those non-farm payroll numbers, considering that last month's blip was because of the hurricanes as well as Boeing strike? So we should, I guess, see stronger numbers this for November.
Yes, I do think this time around we could see stronger numbers. As you say, there were very big anomalies such as a strike and natural disasters. So yes, or potentially there could be a high number print, but and we will just have to see, unfortunately.
I've been finding the performance of the JSE quite interesting. What's driving local markets? We've really had a strong week in the green for most part, and you'd expect markets to perhaps reverse some of the gains considering the downbeat prints that we've been receiving. Yesterday we got that GDP print, growth contracting 0.3%. Today we got consumer confidence edging lower for the fourth quarter. What's driving sentiment here at home?
Well, you have to consider quite a lot of things that have happened, one of which is the two-part system. We've got a lot of cash on hand with the consumers right now, as much as businesses not really doing too well. And we've just gotten out of a long period of load shedding. So businesses are now finding their feet again. So the JSE is benefiting very much from that. And if we dissect which, markets or sectors are, gaining the most in this period, would be the ones where they receive the most cash, which are your retailers.
Yeah.
If you look at Pepco, you look at Mr. Price, very strong performances in recent weeks. And that's mainly the reason around those particular companies. And we are going into the festive season, as much as you said, the confidence numbers did go down today and GDP did go down. We are seeing some strength in other areas. GDP in particular, the loss was mainly because of agriculture, but other sectors were doing well. And the agricultural loss being so large, it pulled the overall number down yesterday.
You brought in that GDP print, and I just wanted to touch on something else. We had that household resilience index showing that, yes, consumers are spending their money, but they're spending their money on gambling, Odwa. A concerning economic indicator, because then it just shows that, okay, yes, there is some disposable income, but not enough, because consumers are using their money to try and gain even more income.
100%. It is a very tough time right now in the markets. The past year was one where you lived through high inflation and high interest rates. And desperation has led to gambling right now, and of which not helping is that there is a lot of promotion of gambling products in recent years. And yes, it is concerning in the broader economy, and it is something to consider. And right now we're just putting a band-aid on a deep cut.
That's right. So talking about that, strained consumer, we had numbers out from Tiger Brands, who are also, operating in that consumer-facing market. However, they managed to, increase revenues, increase profits, even though it was marginally and on the back of higher selling prices. What have you made of those numbers, particularly that turnaround strategy that just started gaining momentum in the second half of the year?
100%. So Beginning of the year, we saw a lot of consumers going to your no-name brands, the lack of a better word, and now we are seeing as again economic factors are leaning towards a better consumer, and that's where we're seeing and with Tiger Brands numbers, it's showing there. But more to your point, in terms of right now, the business did a very good job in firstly limiting costs. And also, if you look across the board, there was just maybe one business that did not do too well. So I'm quite impressed with a turnaround story, changing a bit of management as well. And right now, looking forward as well, the layout they have is quite impressive in my opinion, and I do see some upside for the business.
Super Group, in the meantime, has decided to ditch Australia. They're selling their 53% stake in SG Fleet for about 7.5 billion rands. Seems like markets were really pleased with the news. That share price up 15% by the end of trade.
100%. It's a very good business move for the company itself. Firstly, is the cash injection will allow it to then maneuver quite aggressively in the next steps that it wishes to take, and that's a good thing. And there's, as you mentioned earlier, a 16 rand dividend per share that you're looking to send to the shareholders. And I think that a lot of people are not willing to miss out on that, and that's why the share price also had a very strong jump this morning. I mean, this today.
So shareholders just thinking about those returns, Odwa. So Super Group, not your stock pick. What are you picking today?
My stock pick today is Sun International. Sun International, given that it is the December period, they do have some great resorts to visit, and they have been doing very well. If you look at also the net income margins doubled from last year, and anticipating further growth as well. And tourism in South Africa is actually booming right now, and that's why I'm choosing Sun International.
Odwa, thanks so much for your time and just taking us through the day's markets action. That was Odwa Mangwentshu from Momentum Securities.